Welcome to Real Estate in Real Time. I'm your host, Woody Zimmerman, here with Mark Skabowski of Remax Lakes, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas! Here we are.
Yes, here we are. We've been
another year gone.
We've been hoping for the end of 2020, and it's like
2020,
and it's finally here, which is good.
I know we've had exactly. Rogers just did this. We've had it the year with 2020.
Yeah, we have. So
we want to see 2020 in our rear view very soon.
And the funny thing is that in 2019 we're so anxious about 2020 because it's going to be clear vision.
Clear vision.
2020. We had all the jokes and look
did it get muddled.
Yeah, look what happened with 2020. So, wow. But holidays are here. Just had Christmas. Just had Christmas the other day. New Year's is coming up here, and I think it's a good time to talk about buying and selling during the holidays because it's a different time.
It is totally a different time, and I think this year it's more different than it's ever been. Right, back to the COVID thing.
Right.
So typically, is the winter season is buying it over the holidays? Is that a good time to buy? And the answer normally is yes.
Okay.
Part of the reason for that is if homes have been on the market for a while, sellers, from a buyer's perspective, sellers are sick of having their home listed. Mm-hmm. They're more motivated to sell.
Right.
Over this time. When you get into the winter, now granted, we have not had much snow, right? But typically in the wintertime, if buyers that are traipsing through snow and the cold and all of those things, they're motivated. They want to get out. They need to buy. So they're looking to buy because they're serious buyers. Mm-hmm. And sellers know that as well. Sellers know when, for lack of better terminology, there's tire kickers out there. Yeah. And then whether they're, motivated buyers. And if you're out there dragging your kids through, although typically with COVID, we're not seeing families coming and looking at houses. You're seeing, the decision makers, so to speak. But buyers are motivated to buy in the holiday season. And again, because many sellers have had their houses listed for a while, mm-hmm. and we've talked all year about how fast things sell, but there are some that are still sitting there. I've got a couple of listings like, why are these things not selling? I mean, they're priced right. They've got their little flaws like every house does, but why hasn't it sold yet? And those increase those days on market. They impact the average days on market. But those types of sellers are probably more motivated to sell.
Yeah, because, like you said, I mean, the people that are selling, they're motivated to sell because they don't like to pay the gas bill, NIPSCO, and electric, AEP, and all that, and they don't want to pay those bills,
right?
During this time because it gets a little expensive.
It can be, and it's more difficult. Again, if we get snow, you got to make sure it's safe for buyers to come in to look at the house, mm-hmm. right? I mean, buyers need to understand that too. If we get dumped on, we get that 6 inches of snow overnight, and you've got a 9 a.m. showing, scheduled, mm-hmm. be flexible. Mm-hmm. You may not be able to get in the door, right? The road, maybe your agent has to cancel because they can't get out of their driveway. 6 inches is not going to scare me, but there are those that, you get 2 inches on the ground, I'm not leaving my house.
Yeah.
So, buyers just need to understand and be flexible, and sellers from the same perspective need to be ready. If you've got an empty house, a vacant house, they don't show well when the heat's set at 40 degrees because you're trying to save, mm-hmm. on the utility bills. Totally understand that. So selling in the wintertime is more difficult as well.
Well, you can't see if the house truly has like curb appeal
right.
a lot of the times because if there is 6 inches of snow,
right.
you're not seeing the flowers
right.
or even without snow, it's like if you mowed over the garden and you're not seeing what the house can truly
right.
look like. So
right.
do you recommend that people put up pictures of lay out pictures of the house like during the summertime, during the spring and fall?
Sometimes that's helpful to buyers, and it all depends. That's my favorite answer in real estate is, Mark, what do you think? Well, it depends. Mm-hmm. There are buyers that's going to drive them. There's other buyers that all they care about is the price and the layout. Does the layout work for me? I really don't care about the outside. So it really is going to depend on the individual buyer preference. But from a seller's standpoint, if I've got a fantastic garden and that's a high point to my property, why not? Leave them there so that the buyer can see that. You know, it's always interesting when you go in when someone's built a house and now they're going to sell it. Because I know I have them of mine. When I built my house, we have it from bare ground to when the house is complete, you know, and all the iterations in between. Buyers, that's attractive to them when they see that, especially if, hey, you're the first time or the only home owner of this property. You built it and you know every piece that goes in there. That could be attractive to some buyers. And again, there's going to be others that are, they just walk right by it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So it's like anything. People are different. Every buyer is different. Every seller is different. And what drives them, what's their motivation, that's the key piece to this whole thing. And buying and selling in the wintertime, buyers who are motivated are going to find something they like.
Yeah.
The positive side for a seller is there's fewer choices for them to make. There are fewer homes on the market, even though we've struggled with inventory all the time, but there are less choices for buyers to choose from. They don't have 10, they might have 4 or 5 to choose from. Makes an easier decision for them if they truly need to move. Mm-hmm. If they're motivated to move, less choices is a good thing for some buyers.
All right, and coming up next, we need to talk about, we're talking about wintertime, buying or selling during the holidays, but with it being a COVID year, compared to last year buying and selling, compared to what's going on right now. So we're going to talk about that next. You're listening to Real Estate in Real Time. Welcome back. You're listening to Real Estate in Real Time. I'm your host, Woody Zimmerman, here with Mark Skabowski of RE/MAX Lakes, and we're talking about buying and selling during the holidays. And it's a kind of a tricky time to buy, and and the buyers and the sellers, they're definitely more motivated because you're walking out in the colder weather, you're walking through snow, things like that. But this year, compared to like previous years, is definitely different because of COVID.
Yeah, it really is, and COVID has changed how we show property, working with buyers, and what sellers need to think about when they've got their houses on the market. So from a buyer standpoint, we're doing this, you and I don't have masks on, we're 6 feet apart.
Yeah.
But when I meet a buyer, I've got my mask on, I've got hand sanitizer in the car, and I've got wipes in the car. And, and I just mentioned to them, hey, if you want to open doors, those things, let me know so I can open that. What are we trying to do? We're trying to protect the seller's interest while we're in the house. Most of the agencies are sending out, hey, if you're the standard 4 questions, right? Are you exhibiting symptoms? Have you been around anybody? Do you have a fever? Do you have a cough? Those kind of things. If you're a buyer and you're sick right now, don't go out and look at houses because you're exposing other people that don't necessarily need to be exposed. We can do a virtual tour. There's options. I can do a Facebook Live. I can walk through Facebook Live. I've had people that actually, walk through, do a video tour, and then upload it to YouTube. So I can send it because, those files are pretty large. If you're not doing a live, the files are large. Upload it to YouTube. It's private. Only you and I can see that. So there are alternatives for buyers who, if you need to buy, you want to get out and see a property, we can take care of that. But if you are showing up to a listing, have a mask with you and put the mask on. Again, you need to try to protect the sellers, protect your agent, protect yourselves. I tell folks that, hey, I'm exposed to a lot of people through the day, so I'm wearing a mask when we're meeting because I don't know who I've been in contact with.
Sure.
Right? So, I'm trying to protect you. And I've got some people, it's all ranges of the spectrum. It's a bunch of hooey, I'm not wearing one, to where, oh my gosh, we got to sanitize, I can't touch, can't look, can't anything. So all those different ranges. So I'm taking the middle ground, trying to protect everybody, keeping the mask on. So from a buyer standpoint, don't wait for your agent to tell you need to put a mask on. Show up, put a mask on. From a seller's standpoint, it's different this year in that you really need to make sure those supplies are there just in case. Typically we say make sure you have a rug there because of snow. When you're selling your home in the wintertime, people are traipsing snow in. Some don't even think about it. Some will take their shoes off, some won't. They're dragging that stuff through your house. Well, the addition you need to do this year is make sure you have hand sanitizer there. Some seller and masks, potentially. I mean, you can buy a box of masks relatively inexpensively. If you want people to wear booties, make sure you've coordinated with your agent to have booties there. Or ask people to take your shoes off. In the wintertime, less likely to have barefoot folks, in the summertime, people walk around in flip-flops, so they're walking in bare feet on your house. But in the wintertime, most people have socks on. I have not done a statistical analysis, but I'm going to say a large percentage of the people I deal with have socks on in the wintertime. So, walking around the house, they're going to not be barefoot in your house. But, if you've got concerns about people touching stuff, have those instructions. Give them to your listing agent. We're going to turn all the lights on. We don't want you touching light switches and those kind of things. Yeah. Don't turn the lights off when you leave. That's been a practice of mine for 15 years. When I walk out of the door, I'm making sure the lights are all off and the house is secure. Some people don't want that now, and because they don't want somebody else touching their, light switches, and I totally understand that. Again, for sellers, just be aware, agents are into this. We've adapted and adjusted what's going on. We're, as I just mentioned with buyers, make sure you put a mask on. If you've got those requirements, make sure it gets to your listing agent so that it gets to the buyer's agents. It's not always going to be your listing agent that's going to be there to show the property. So if you've got concerns, let people know.
Okay. How's the market going right now? I mean,
it's typically a little bit slower in around the holiday season, but I have to say in the last week it's picked up again. And I've talked to numerous agents because I'm actually showing again. I went through a week there. It's like, oh my gosh, did I not shower? Do I stink? Nobody wants to talk to me. And I heard that from a lot of different people.
Yeah.
But in the last week it's picked up. It has. I mean, there's more activity. Is that because people are off for the holidays? I don't know. Is it because interest rates are still really low, still great? I mean, they're still at all-time lows.
And it seems like they're still inching down.
They're staying in between. 2 3/4 for a 30-year fixed. I've closed a couple of them.
Yeah.
That is completely amazing to me. And if you do a 15-year, you can get 2 1/4. That is outrageous. So, but I can say that the number of refis and things have probably slowed down. I think we had that big rush.
Yeah.
So the title companies have caught up. The mortgage lenders have caught up. Our problem here, and next week we're going to talk about maybe looking forward, backwards, but maybe looking forward. Affordability and inventory are still going to be my themes. That's my prediction for 2021. Affordability. And a shortage of inventory is going to be key in 2021.
And do you think the pendulum is going to swing into more of a balanced market?
I think we're going to get there. I do. When in 2021 it's going to happen, I don't know. Of course, I said that in 19 coming into 20.
Right.
COVID hit, all bets were off. But I really think we're going to see that slide more towards a balanced market sometime in 2021. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Interesting. I mean, I'm just floored that the market is still hot. That
it is.
It's still very, very busy.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a good thing because normally that predicts other industries.
Yeah, that drives the economic, engine for the country. Absolutely.
Okay. Hey, Mark, your contact information?
Sure. Website's lakes-realtors.com. Phone numbers 574-834-1233. These things are uploaded to YouTube, Real Estate in Real Time. Google it, search it, whatever. Go on YouTube and search it. You'll find us.
Sure. All right. Very good. Happy holidays to everybody. Thanks for listening. We really appreciate it, and have yourself a wonderful weekend.